Who are three more players the Buffalo Sabres should trade for this offseason? Find out coming up. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Sports Talk Buffalo. Now, last video, which you can view in the link above, I talked about three players that I believe the Buffalo Sabres should go after via trade this offseason. Now, I would love to talk about three more players that I believe the Buffalo Sabres could potentially go after this offseason, as all of them have trade rumors circling around each and every one of these players. So who do I believe the Buffalo Sabres should go after? The first player being a player that has been talked about on several different occasions, and that is Pavel Buchnevich. Now, Buchnevich was being shopped around last season around the deadline. However, the St. Louis Blues ended up keeping a hold of him as they were in a playoff race, and they had no real urgency to trade him away as he had multiple years left on his deal. However, since they missed the playoffs this past season, they might want to retool and listen to offers on the forward. While Buchnevich isn't considered a superstar, he does have a very good career points per game, which sits at a .77 points per game, which equates to 63 points per 82 games. So what do you think it would take the Buffalo Sabres trading in order to get a player of Pavel Buchnevich caliber? In my eyes, I believe that, he is a little bit older. He's 29 years old. He's likely approaching the end of his prime, as we've seen time and again. It is the late 20s and early 30s, in which a majority of NHL players are in their primes. So he only has a few good quality years left of potentially producing at the highest level. And he also only has 1 year left on his NHL contract, or on his contract. So all of these factors could help the Buffalo Sabres potentially not overpay for the very skilled forward. Now, it is rumored that I have seen that St. Louis wants the equivalent, either 2 first-round picks or the equivalent to 2 first-round picks, to go back to St. Louis in order to trade Buchnevich. Lucky for the Buffalo Sabres, they have a plethora of young talent that they can potentially trade away, and they also have this year's first-round pick. So if the Sabres trade this year's first-round pick and either Ostlund or Kulich, that should be enough to get the deal done and get the trade for Pavel Buchnevich and have him be a Buffalo Sabre this upcoming season. Now, the second player that I would love the Buffalo Sabres to go after this offseason is Joel Farabee. Now, Farabee has been rumored to potentially be unhappy as he has a rocky relationship with their head coach in John Tortorella. He also did not really like the role that he had in Philadelphia as they moved him up and down the lineup, and he finished on the 4th line to end the season in Philly. Now, Farabee still has 4 years left on his contract, worth an annual average value of $5 million per year. However, he is just 23 years old and coming off of his best season in the NHL, which saw him score 22 goals, 28 assists for 50 points in 82 games. Farabee would be a welcomed middle six forward and add depth scoring for this Buffalo Sabres team, something that we saw last season they so desperately need. They need to be able to roll at least 3 lines in case there are off nights by the first two lines. We saw Dylan Cousins struggle last season. We saw Tage Thompson struggle a lot last season, mostly because of injuries. However, you can really never predict injuries in a season. So it would be a great insurance plan to have another young forward with a ton of NHL experience to come in with this Buffalo Sabres team and add depth scoring for the Sabres going into an incredibly important season for this franchise. A lot of people believe that this season is boom or bust for the Buffalo Sabres. And what that means, I don't really know. Maybe they go in a completely different direction. If this team does not have enough to make the playoffs, maybe they tear the whole thing down. I don't know. I do know that Farabee would be a fantastic addition to this Buffalo Sabres team. And I believe, however, it would likely take a little bit more than he's probably worth to pry him away from a divisional rival. So once again, the Sabres would probably have to ship at least their first round pick and probably a lesser prospect in order to get Farabee away from the Philadelphia Flyers. Usually, I would say that he would probably be good enough with just a first round pick to pry away from the Flyers, especially if he was unhappy. However, I think they also have to throw in a prospect as well, and it could possibly be an Isaac Rosen or a Tyson Kozak. I believe one of those players mixed with the 11th overall pick could potentially get Farabee away from the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, lastly, this player has been rumored to be on the Buffalo Sabres trade list for a number of years. This has been multiple times that we've talked about this player, Buffalo, or in the past, and that is, of course, skilled winger Nikolai Ehlers. Now, Ehlers is entering the last season of his contract with the Winnipeg Jets, and with the Winnipeg Jets getting bounced in the first round, they might be looking to retool moving forward, and hopefully for the Buffalo Sabres, that means trading away Nikolai Ehlers. Now, Ehlers has spent his entire career in Winnipeg, so it would kind of surprise me if they were shopping him around. However, much like Buchnevich, Ehlers isn't a superstar. However, he has been a quality points producer since entering the league at 19 years old. Ehlers is a very, very good goal scorer. He has 7 20+ goal seasons out of the 9 seasons that he has been in the NHL. Now, I've looked around, and it is rumored that Winnipeg may want a top 4 defenseman in return for Ehlers. So the Buffalo Sabres are in luck with trading Casey Middlestad away and Bowen Byram coming in. It potentially makes either Matthias Samuelsson, who when healthy, has been a very, very good lockdown defenseman. He also comes with term, so that's something that Winnipeg might want to see when trading for Nikolai Ehlers. And also, also Ryan Johnson, who played about 40-some games last season. He looked like he looks like he has the potential to be a very quality two-way top 4 defenseman moving forward. He is still very young, and I think that he could potentially blossom into a very solid two-way defenseman for whoever team he plays for. I mean, if the Buffalo Sabres trade Ryan Johnson or Matthias Samuelsson and maybe a later round draft pick in order to get a Nikolai Ehlers, I don't think there would be too many upset Buffalo Sabres fans. Ehlers would, of course, slot right in somewhere on the top 6. He would have to slot somewhere in on the top 6. And if, he's 28 years old, I believe, and if the Buffalo Sabres could potentially get him locked up, this season, they would have a quality number of years that he would still be able to produce at the highest level. As we talked about earlier with Buchnevich, he would still have probably 4 to 5 good solid years of prime hockey left in him moving forward for the Buffalo Sabres. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Again, I try to answer every single comment that is left on my videos. Is there another player that you potentially have in mind that you want me to talk about? Let me know in the comment section below, and maybe we'll do a third video on this very topic. Again, an incredibly important offseason for this Buffalo Sabres team. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. And as always, have a fantastic week.